Hi, this is Paul from Senior to Scratch. I'm here at the beautiful 365 Golf in Calgary, Alberta. This is a modern facility with the latest TrackMan technology, high-end graphics as you can see on the screen behind us. You can watch sports on the big screen, TVs, and have a beverage or two in this fully licensed establishment. I'm here with Director of Player Development, Josh Fleming, and someone who has given over 10,000 lessons in his illustrious career. Josh has many accolades on his resume, but most recently the 2021 and 2023 PGA of Alberta Teacher of the Year and finalist for the PGA of Canada Teacher of the Year in both of those years. Josh is a 2020 PGA of Alberta Club Professional Order of Merit winner. Josh's vision to enable all golfers of all skill levels to enjoy the game to the fullest extent. Josh, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Paul. It's never really think about your accolades until you hear someone kind of rattle some of them off. And
Yeah,
definitely proud of those, and proud of the facility that we have here at 365.
yeah, it's very beautiful. Congratulations! I think you just set it up in the last year or two, right?
Yeah, it was 365. Golf started, I guess, 2.5 years ago. I teached out of another simulator facility for a year and a half, and then opened this one on October 1st last year. And me and my business partner, Tyler LeBouthier, are having a lot of fun helping golfers enjoy the game here.
Right on. Thanks, Josh. Well, as I mentioned before, you've been recognized as the PGA of Alberta Teacher of the Year twice now. What inspired you to focus on helping senior golfers like myself improve their game? What unique challenges and opportunities do you see working with this group of people?
Yeah, you know what? It's first of all, I'm happy to help anyone that's willing to listen. And the senior demographic, whether that be over 50 or over 55, I don't even know what the number is, right? It's just a demographic that I've always kind of enjoyed helping, right? There's a lot of talk about helping better players shallow the club and do some really technical things, and I find that that over 50 population sometimes just looking to go from a 24 handicap down to an 18, or just hit a few straighter drives, make a little bit better contact. I've always gravitated towards helping that level player, right? We have all sorts of tools here at 365 to be able to help with that, but I've just always really enjoyed that demographic of golfer, and as I do every other demographic. But I found that our facility has been pretty welcoming to that level of player for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. I love it. Love it here. So, can you tell us about some of the specific techniques or training methods that have proven effective for senior golfers to lower their handicap?
Yeah, well, I mean, Paul, I would say you're the perfect example, right? We've helped you a little bit with your game, and we were talking about it just before we started here today. That there's a couple non-negotiables for myself when I coach golf, and I like to see a club path that is relatively neutral to just a little bit into out, right? Not pushing extremes, but that's a nice way to play consistent golf, and then learning how to create a degree of forward shaft lean, right? Getting compression on the golf ball is something sweet that not enough golfers get to experience, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of sweet sound, if you will, that buttery feeling off the club face. So if I can help any golfer find those two things, they're going to play more consistent golf. And I've been fortunate over the years to see that those two things really do help people play better golf, and it's something I'm proud of for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You transformed my swing, and it's much more consistent now. So, thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem, right?
Yeah. So, flexibility and strength can change with age. Obviously, I'm an example of that because my back was hurting. And as a side note, you helped lead me in the right direction, sending me to the Titleist Performance Institute golf movement specialist. That really helped me with some of my body movements so that it wouldn't hurt as much. So, with all that information, do you have some practical exercises or routines that you recommend for seniors to maintain their physical condition for better performance on the course?
Yeah, so I cannot, right, and I will highlight, I cannot claim to be, a motion expert by any means, but I have helped a lot of golfers who need a little bit of help in that area. And one of the things that I would say just in general for all golfers is if you're not doing basic stretches, maybe just start with some basic stretches, right? If you're a golfer who doesn't have a lot of mobility in the hips, right? Even look online, right? Mm-hmm. But there's so much good content out there, but more than anything, it's like find an expert, right? That's not my area of expertise, right? I can help you move, right? That's one of the big ones with myself is I can help people learn to rotate better. But if there's an actual block there, I'm not the person for that. But, when it comes to rotating the shoulders or rotating the hips, I'm here to help you learn how to do that within the limitations that you have, right?
Yeah,
I
excellent.
was asked though, I'll tell you a funny story. Someone asked me a couple of years ago, what can I do for physical fitness? And I said, well, what do you do right now? And they said, well, nothing. And I said, well, then the answer is really easy. Like, get up and go for a walk, right? And, I joke about that, but, motion is lotion for the body. I think that every physiotherapist out there would agree to some extent to that comment. So, if you're looking for better mobility in golf, definitely, Shannon Heffernan at the Dynamic Motion Golf Center here in Calgary is fantastic. Her and her team. I know that's who you went to see. But other than that, if you're just looking for someone to help you move a little bit better within the confines of what you have, I can certainly help you learn how to rotate better in the golf swing, just as one example.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you have this cool little ecosystem, it's not just about golf here. It's about, helping your body move better so that you have a better golf swing. And I really like the fact that I went to physiotherapists, chiropractors, I went to, osteopaths. None of that stuff helped me. But as soon as I went for one session to these golf movement experts that you work with, it was great. Yeah.
Well,
Really
that's
helped me
awesome,
out.
right? I mean, like I say, Dynamic Motion, that's who I send a lot of my business
Yeah.
to. And I trust them if I were to work on my own game in that matter, for sure.
Right on. So we talked about the physical. Now let's talk about the mental game. So,
Oh, man.
yeah. So like, how do
Do
you
we have
coach?
enough time,
Yeah.
Paul?
Like I know seniors like myself, we're basically when I call myself a senior, that's because I'm 50 plus, right? But we're stuck in our ways. We have all that mental baggage from bad shots in the past. So how do we kind of address that part of our game?
Yeah. So I have a 3.5-year-old at home. So I'm going to tie this question to a 3.5-year-old versus, someone who is quite a bit older, right? And I watch my little guy at home, Jackson, and he'll be playing with blocks or he'll be doing something and he'll fail. And he won't get mad. If his blocks fall over, he will just start building his blocks again. And, when people are young, they're used to failing over and over and over again. And as we get older, failure becomes this like terrible thing. And I don't think that golfers should be looking at it that way. It's like, hey, if you're failing at something, there's an opportunity to get better, right? And if you're missing that opportunity and you're dwelling in what you're doing wrong, you're never going to reach the level that you can. So I would say, that's why junior golfers are so good. They try things and they fail, but then they succeed once or twice. And then they're like, oh, wow, I can hit that shot. And I see it all the time. I'll ask somebody in a lesson, why are you afraid of trying that? Because I can see that, they can practice that motion, whatever it is, but then when it comes time to execute, they won't give themselves that freedom to do it, right? And, I often say it's like, man, you're at a golf lesson. That means you were hitting bad shots before.
Yeah.
So what if you try something new and hit a bad shot, right? So wrapping your mind around it's okay to fail to succeed is kind of like my biggest one is like, you got nothing to lose, right? Especially here. It's like, man, you're already here for a golf lesson. You're probably not happy. So like, push your boundaries a little and be okay with not succeeding at first.
Yeah, you likely will get a little bit worse before you get better because it's a new form that you're trying to incorporate. So.
Yeah, and if I can just kind of comment on that from a personal level, I don't actually always love you have to get way worse to get better, right? I think that results are important as you're coaching golf. So, it's something that myself and my business partner really monitor. I'm always asking our students, how are you playing? Are you playing better? Are you compressing the golf ball better? Is your shot straighter, right? Because I take a lot of pride, right, in our results. So you don't have to get way worse. So I always put that out there.
Right.
You have to be willing to accept the challenges that come with playing better golf.
Exactly. You might put you in a place that you're uncomfortable, but it's better. Like I like the fact that you don't try to wholesale change swings. You work with what you're given and make tweaks to it. And that makes the whole process fun. It's not like you have to give up golf or anything like that because you're bad. You could keep playing and keep improving.
Yeah.
Right on. So do you have any memorable success stories of senior golfers that you've coached or mentored?
That's a really good question. I'd like to say yes, this one right off the top of my head. But, I just take a lot of pride, honestly, in the fact that when people come in, yourself as an example, you said you started the year as a 5 and you're a 3.6 now. I don't know the percentage on that, but I know it's north of 20%. So when somebody simply comes in and says, I am having more fun playing golf, that to me is like the biggest success story. And better golf means different things to different people. And the hashtag at 365 golf is enjoy the game, because enjoying the game for some is just striking it more pure or hitting it a little straighter. So when I just hear people tell me that they're reaching their goals, that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here, granted, I think that I can help an elite level player, but when we're talking about the demographic within this interview, right, it's just those mini success stories of, man, I hit a drive the other day longer than 220 and I've never done that.
Yeah.
Right? There are players out there at an elite level who hit a 7-iron that far, but as ladies, just a slower swing speed, I should say. All of a sudden, when they get it past that 220 mark with their driver, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Right? So, getting to celebrate those successes with people is what I really actually enjoy the most out of what we do here.
Yeah. I mean, even just in our short lesson today, you were able to sort of transform my iron game in terms of the spin that I was getting. And it's your keen set of eyes where you can actually just look at the swing and say, hey, I think if you do this, you'll get more spin, you'll get better stopping power. So little things like that for someone, say at my level, that wants to improve and try to get to scratch, I think is super helpful.
So you're well on your way right now.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
So like I mentioned at the start, there's a whole bunch of technology in this room. So how does 365 Golf utilize technology to basically help the learning experience for senior golfers?
So I think that when I meet someone new, I try and figure out, how do I need to use the tech, right? Do I need to use the tech to show the change, or do I need to use the tech to coach the change? So I can put someone in a certain position that they can feel, if you will, knowing that feel is going to create a data change, if you will, right? If you feel your wrist do this, I know that it's going to change club path. So that's using data to just show the change, right? It's like, hey, we did this and look at what happened to club path. Or I can say, hey, Paul, you need to swing more in to out, and then you kind of extrapolate it in reverse. It's like, okay, in to out, I must have to do this. So that's one of the ways, right? And then using tech in a very simple manner, right? TrackMan has more than 24 data points that we can look at, but I think the key is finding what data point, if you will, right, is most meaningful given the lesson that I'm about to teach, right? And early on, with the typical out to in slicer of the golf ball, I'm always watching club path, right? I'm always watching club path, and I'm always watching face angle, because those two things are the things that create straight ball flight or less curve to the right. So I hope that answers your question, right? So keeping it simple and then recognizing how is the person going to best gravitate towards technology, right? And then we have a few other pieces, hack motion measures wrist position. So if we're working on wrist positions, again, finding a way to use hack motion in the simplest way possible, or if it's body track and weight shift or pressure in the ground, I should say, right? Being able to show someone very simply, this is how their pressures are moving in the golf swing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So can you maybe tell us a little bit about the programs that you offer here at 365 Golf, just for the general public?
Yeah, so everything we do here at 365, I like to say, is customized. So, I can't tell you that in lesson number 1, we're going to do this, and lesson number 2, we're going to do that. And I say that because everything we do is customized to the individual, and I'm a believer in getting results. All right. So, there are some times where I might forego a setup change because I don't think that exact setup change is going to materially change ball flight. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? So our programs are anywhere from 4 coaching sessions all the way to, 35, right? And we have players on all those. And what's important to remember is at 365, we just coach to goals. So if someone comes in and says, I just want to hit a little bit more crisp, yeah, that might be a smaller program. Whereas if we get someone who comes in as an 8 handicap and says, I want to get to scratch, kind of maybe, hey, settle in, and we have to work on every facet of your game. We're going to work on driver. We're going to work on long game. We're going to work on, short irons. And then we're going to get outside. We use Valley Ridge for short game and playing lessons and putting, right? So the bigger the program, we have the ability to just use more pieces of technology and focus on the entire game. So everything we do is goal focused, ranging anywhere from 4 lessons, and we try not to do the 4-pack very often is what we call that, because we just like that individual attention that we can provide with a few more sessions.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
So winter's coming, unfortunately, fairly soon.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Can you talk about some of the fun activities that you have going on here in the wintertime?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, in our space, we have an amazing sound system. We have 10 televisions, right, ranging from 65 inches to 55 inches. You can see maybe a couple in the background here, right? And then, TrackMan, right, offers absolutely awesome visuals. So we're going to run a simulator league again, so people can come play golf, enjoy the experience with the sound system and the televisions, right? We do have our liquor license and a fantastic restaurant in St. Louis Bar and Grill just right across the street, and they can deliver some food to you. So simulator league, we'll run some scrambles over the winter, 2-person scrambles. We did that last year. That's a really fun way to come take some pressure off, or add pressure to your partner, if you will, right? So some events and so forth. And then just worth mentioning that someone can always rent our space out for a corporate event or a birthday party. You can put about 10 people in here. We have 2 bays. If that's the case, we can lock the door and you can have as much fun as you want.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks very much, Josh. I appreciate your time.
Paul, thank you.
And make sure you look him up on Google as well. He's got some excellent reviews on Google, 5 stars, I believe, 5.0 out of 5.0
I'm pretty proud of it. I think we're 139 or 141 5-star reviews.
Yeah, and well deserved.
Right
so thanks once again, and thanks for having me as a client of yours.
For sure.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and just to add one more time, of course, this is the Senior to Scratch interview, right? But I do want everyone to know that at 365, we're happy to help golfers of every skill level, background, and demographic for sure. So
yeah, thank you.
Best place.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Paul.